Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay Marie, and today I am bringing you a video that is part 2 of one I've already done, but that is going to be a reacting to 1-star reviews of the most recent books that I've read. So in this video I'm going to be doing the last 4 books I've read. So they are going to be Conceal Don't Feel, which is supposed to be, how do you word it? It's supposed to be a retelling kind of Frozen, like a Twisted Tale in that series, if you guys have ever heard of those. It's not a Twisted series, but that's another story, which I might do a review on because I have a lot of thoughts about that book. And then book number 2 is going to be The Night Circus, so I have a few of that. And then Harry Potter, the first book, I have a few of those. And the last book is going to be Daisy Jones and the Six. So I have like 3 to 4 reviews for each book. So I came prepared this time with some photos of these 1-star reviews. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the first one. And this first book is for Conceal Don't Feel. So 1 star, boring. It was like watching the movie but without the sisters knowing of each other. The author even copied phrases straight from the movie. I guess I was expecting something more creative. And this video might contain spoilers. I'm going to put that in the title as well. Some of these, I did go through and read as many of these as I could to make sure they didn't have a lot of spoilers, but some of them still might. So, sorry. I'm really sorry. If you haven't read the book or you haven't seen the movie by now, yeah, some of these might contain spoilers. So continue watching at your own risk. This is a second review for Conceal Don't Feel, 1 star. I was hoping this retelling would attempt to fix some of the glaring flaws of the film and make Elsa actually villainous, like she was clearly supposed to be, and then be redeemed by sisterly love. But alas, that would apparently be too interesting. This retelling changed absolutely nothing except to physically separate the sisters, make the backstory make even less sense, and give Hans even more clunky dialogue. I agree with that one. I went into this hoping for more information that we don't already know from the movies. This felt exactly like the movie, but like they said, the only thing different was that they didn't know each other. And even that didn't really, like, there were little bits here and there throughout the book that, it's hard to explain, but it just really didn't work, and it was just more of the information that we already knew. Like, there was no new information, except that the rock trolls separated them instead of just removing the memories, and it was a curse. And that was it, really. There was no new information, which is, I think, what a lot of people were hoping for with this book. So I 100% agree with this review. I did give it a 4 stars out of 5 just because some of it was interesting. I might go back and change that to a 3 now that I'm thinking more about the book. But I liked the characterization. I liked some of the dialogue. Most of it, yes, was straight copied from the movie. But some of it was good. I thought it was interesting to have Hans chasing Elsa for like an entire year instead of Anna. It was weird. It was weird and confusing, and I didn't like the I was listening to this via audiobook, and I don't love the narrator with Olaf. I don't like it. I couldn't stand it. Okay. Next review, 1 star. The only people I would refer... I need to cut out these yawns. The only people I would refer this book to is the ones who have not seen the movie. Way too much like the movie. Not much of a twist to it, I agree. Love the Twisted Tale series, but this is the only one I kind of feel like I wasted my time reading. It was even like reading the transcript of the movie for the most part. Again, agreed. I don't know where that came from, where they decided, hey, let's just throw in, I mean, like, here and there, a couple of, like, references to the movie is fine and even enjoyable, but it felt like they were doing it like every single chapter. There was like a line quoted straight from the movie, and it just felt weird and wrong and out of place. I don't know. It was very odd, but I definitely agree with a lot of these so far. Last one for this book. I found this book quite boring to read. No originality and redundant. If you want a retelling of the movie with minor changes, then you'll enjoy this book. Agreed for the most part. I don't think... it's hard to say because I'm a big Frozen fan. I didn't used to be, but I am now. I need to clear all these guys. I didn't used to be a big Frozen fan, but I am now. But as a Frozen fan, I can say that even being a fan of the movies, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this book because you might as well watch the movie at that point. So overall opinions, I'm changing my rating to a 3 now after really going over all of this. I wouldn't recommend it just because if you've already seen the movie, you might as well just watch the movie again at that point because it's pretty much the same, just a tiny little twist. And to be fair, I haven't read the other Twisted Tales series. I don't know if I will, but I don't want to put all of them in with the Frozen book either because some of them probably are pretty good. So I might read some others, but we'll have to see in the future if I do that or not. But for now, I do not recommend Conceal Don't Feel. And let's ignore that I have a copy of it on my shelf right now. So next book that I'm going to be reacting to is The Night Circus. So 1-star review. Nothing happened in this book. And I want to put the disclaimer out here that I should have done in the beginning. These opinions are not my opinions. Some of them I might agree with, but these are not my opinions. These are other people's opinions on Goodreads that I'm just reacting to. Clarify. You know when you start reading a book and the writing is so magical and you feel like you're in a fairy tale because the author's sentences flow like flower petals in the wind, and then you keep on reading and reading, and the writing is so magical, but also nothing has really happened. And then you're at the end of the book where the writing is still so magical, but still nothing happened. Yeah, that was this book. I disagree. I agree that the book itself is so magical. It is. It just is. It's so magical. However, I do feel like a lot of things happened, and I'm not going to go into spoilers of this one, because I feel like everybody should read it. So I don't want to go into spoilers, and there's tons of reviews out there that will be a lot better than mine if you want to watch those, if you don't plan to read the book. But in my opinion, it's wrong. Next one, 1 star. The last quarter of this book was better than the rest, but overall I found myself disinterested in the story and characters. The author gives grand descriptions of the environment, but nothing ever seems to happen. Recurring theme in these reviews for this book, and I just don't understand what people are talking about, because yes, the descriptions are magical and beautiful and fantastical, but things do happen. Like, I can't get into it, but like they do. Like, what book were you reading? So those are the only two I was able to find that I thought were interesting enough to put in this video, but I definitely disagree that nothing happens. Highly disagree. So the next book, cutting out this guy. The next book I'm going to do, I have 3 screenshots. It's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first book, which my review and thoughts on are coming out in Booktober. That's one of the series for sure that I'm going to do during the month of October. So I'll save my overall review of it for then. So here's a 1-star review. Didn't like the first one at all. Found it utter garbage. People told me I should read the last one, that it was better written, more mature, etc. Tried it, and nope, still garbage. Shame. To sum it up, the story was pretty much stolen together from different sources. Characters are cardboard cutouts. uninspiring and unlikable with a few exceptions. Snape has some depth. The main character is a whiny kid, the bad guy is laughable. I do kind of agree with that. The language Rowling uses is poor at best, full of repeated lines, cliches, etc. The dialogues are unrealistic and annoyingly stupid at times. The story itself is full of plot holes, and characters make moves that make no sense even in the seamless universe that these books conjure up. Just bad literature, basically. I can't imagine why this is so popular. But then again, so are Twilight and 50 Shades, which are far worse. Okay. I don't want to say I agree. Because I like the characters in the world of Harry Potter. I like it a lot. But I like the movies. Now that I've read the first book, I can say the movie really was depicted well. Like it translated well. The writing followed the book pretty well from what I remember. But it's almost like Lord of the Rings for me and like the Hobbit books. I would rather watch them than read about them. But that also comes from me not reading them growing up. So they're not nostalgic for me. So that also could be a big part of why I don't love the book. But yes, I agree and disagree. This one is 1 star. I don't understand what the big fuss is over this book. I thought the characters were whiny and self-absorbed. The writing mundane and not catchy, and the story not very original, with the beginning echoing A Wizard of Earthsea, which did it better in every way, shape, and form. I personally wouldn't ever recommend this book to anyone. I thought it was shallow, uninspired, and felt like a waste of my time to read. It was actually part of a required list of books for a sci-fi fantasy class I took in college, and was the only title from the entire semester that I didn't love. I feel like that's saying something. So yeah, like if you're reading it as an adult for the first time, whether that's for a class or whether it's for a video like I'm doing, you're probably not gonna like it as much because you don't have that nostalgic factor going into it, which is what I think is the reason why I don't like it. And it's not that I don't like it. It's that worlds like that, to me, are better to watch than to read about. But that's just me. I know a lot of people love the books. I know a lot of people have issues with them now. I get it. But yeah, I agree and disagree on most of these. So I think there's 2 more. I don't think the Harry Potter books were good. No. I'm so sorry. I don't think the Harry Potter books were good. Now, before you lash out and type, "Oh, you're so stupid, you don't understand good books," this is just my opinion. I never thought Harry Potter to be interesting. The book and movies, they just didn't keep me interested, which is, again, a fair opinion. It's the opposite for me. I love the movies. I really do like the movies. They're really fun to watch, and the world is so fun to get into. But the books, they're not for me either. Alright, this is the last one for Harry Potter. First of all, you have to ask yourself this question. How old am I? If the answer is above 10, please put the book down. You are embarrassing yourself. I have some thoughts on this one, but let's continue. I would have said 11, but then it occurred to me that today's tweens are probably a little too mature for this book and thought better of it. Yes, I'm sure the rest of the books in the series get better and blah blah blah, but unless you are reading this as a bedtime story to a small child, just say no. I wish I had. I don't agree. I don't agree with the idea that just because books are, and this goes for shows and movies too, any form of media out there, just because something is marketed towards kids doesn't mean we can't enjoy it as an adult. Sometimes it's nostalgic, like for a lot of us that like Disney movies and everything. It's nostalgic. We grew up with it as children. But that doesn't mean you can't still like it as an adult and still watch the movies and everything like that just because it's written for children. I think putting that twist on it and that thought out there is very dangerous. Not dangerous, but what's the right word? it's hurtful because some people like cartoons still, and that's perfectly fine. Everyone's allowed to like what they like, and that's just how it is. I mean, I don't really know what else to say to that opinion, but I highly disagree with it. Highly disagree. Okay, so this is the last book in this series. This is going to be Daisy Jones and the Six. So 1 star. I would rather read Twilight or a Colleen Hoover book, but then I remember they are just as bad. And all the hype for this was so boring. I didn't even finish it. I don't agree. I don't agree. There's a lot of complex characters in this book. The history and the emotions that are captured in this book were really, really good to me. And I really liked this book. So I'm probably going to disagree with a lot of these. Let's read the second one because it's a little bit longer. Predictable and boring. Predictable and boring. Flip to any page and I can tell you what's happening. Daisy is doing drugs. Daisy is doing stupid stuff as a result of drugs. Simone is hoping for Daisy to seek rehab. Hit songs are being crafted. Billy is fighting back addiction for his family. Eddie is whining over his lack of creative control. Other characters mumble something unimportant. Remember when VH1's Behind the Music was big, and eventually all the rock band stories started to sound similar. Struggle, success, creative clashing, musical epiphanies, drugs, band hookups. Every story was the same. Now imagine shelling out $17 to read the snooziest transcript of that story. Reviews insist the characters are so alive, I can't believe this isn't a real band. Well, that's because it is a story we've heard 1,000 times. I suppose I could have guessed that from the blurb. I was just hopeful that Reed's writing would deliver it in a punchy book, but it fell short for me. The 1 star is delivered to the lyrics in the back of the book. Taylor Jenkins Reid crafting songs for a band book is pretty dope. Okay. I disagree. I strongly disagree. I thought the book was really well written, but the audiobook to me was even better because they cast different actors to voice different characters, which was really fun. You got like a completely different experience with each character, and that was really enjoyable to listen to. I know I'm not the only one, but I really liked that. The aspect of having different actors voicing different characters just made things more fun. And yeah, her writing songs for her book was really cool. I agree with that. And the soundtrack is great. If you've seen the show, if you've heard the soundtrack, you know it's a great soundtrack. So there's 2 more. I'm gonna do this one instead. Have you ever watched a mockumentary and got annoyed at how fake and forced everyone sounds? This sums up this novel, where everything is told to you. What a lazy way to write a book and call it a novel, by a variety of characters who all sound exactly the same. They don't sound the same. The narration tricks, he said blue and she said yellow, got so boring so quick it was really hard to carry on reading till the end. On top of that, the marketed feminist aspects of the book would not even fill 2 pages. It was an interesting premise, and I would love for this to be a well-developed, well-written, character-led novel about a complex relationship during an amazing time period of the 70s, but it just wasn't that at all. Again, I disagree. But you know what? We all have opinions. We all are entitled to our own opinions, so that's fine that that's that person's opinion, but it's wrong. Yeah, I find it so hard to appreciate someone else's opinion when, I don't know, it just feels like they didn't truly get the concept and the message of the book. Maybe I'm wrong, but you know, as a person who deeply loved the book and who it really affected me a lot, it made me laugh, it made me cry. The soundtrack is so good. And the show was so well casted too. Like the show's casting was so good. Like spot on. I don't understand people that didn't like it, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. So those are my thoughts on these 1-star reviews for some of the most recent books I have read. I hope you enjoyed them. If you've read any of these books, please let me know in the comments what you rated them and what you thought of them, and your opinion on some of these 1-star reviews, because they were painful to get through. And I will see you guys in my next one. Love you guys. Bye.